task force meeting attendees and know that we alternate our meetings between Sacramento and places across California. This is an unprecedentedly large and diverse task force that is all focused on bringing leaders and groups together really for four things in my mind. First and foremost is to drive execution of the state's action plan that was formed in partnership with the federal government and others. The Wildfire and Forest Resilience Action Plan. And so every day, every week, Patrick Wright, our executive director, and his team are focused on executing those actions. The task force also serves to fill gaps that exist in our efforts and strategies and ask and answer big questions to improve the sophistication of our wildfire resilience efforts. And we'll spend a lot of today delving into some of those questions and potential gaps. We think we have the best thinkers across our state and even our country that are resident across the task force to help us fill these gaps. We know that the task force is helping us better coordinate and align across agencies and groups. So many groups, so many governments doing so many important things, but traditionally have been siloed. And so this task force is bringing alignment and coordination. And then lastly, and perhaps most importantly, looking forward, institutionalizing the structures and the systems that are going to allow us to tackle this problem at scale, to achieve wildfire resilience across a state that is 104 million acres. And so as we take care of specific tasks in the action plan and fill gaps and build our coordination, it's all towards building a durable system and structure to do the amount of work we need to build our wildfire resilience across the state over coming years and decades. So with that said, I checked in with Jen, and we wanted to give an opportunity for one of our key colleagues in the governor's office just to introduce himself and just share high-level thoughts. Reese Williams is the Deputy Cabinet Secretary who reports directly to the governor on all things emergency preparedness and response. So this winter, he's been focused on leading the response effort on the floods, but we also work with him throughout the year on responding to catastrophic wildfire and also preparing ourselves for catastrophic wildfire. So we just wanted to, Reese, give you an opportunity to share thoughts from where you sit in the governor's office.
There you go, magic. Focused on it, changed. Thanks, Secretary. Appreciate the opportunity to be here and for convening this particular task force meeting here in Sacramento and kind of bringing it back to where it all started. Cannot understate the centrality and how this task force is the backbone to the long-term resilience of this state and its response to wildfires. I think, at least from the public perspective, the solution is very much in Director Tyler and the regional foresters' domain of sirens and equipment, and that's part of the solution, but that's the immediate solution. And I think, when the governor first assumed office, was very clearly told by leadership at that time who do the firefighting that we cannot firefight our way out of this crisis. And so that was the really the genesis for taking what was the previous incarnation of this task force and moving to where it is now. It is very much on the governor's radar. He continues to track the progress on the 99 action points and where we are and regularly cites them, and just as a strategy, being able to demonstrate that we have a plan, and not only that we have a plan, that we're executing on it as well. It's enormously important in building faith. And I think it's also gone a long way to kind of change the dialogue around how we view forest health and the long-term efforts that we need to do both to restore health to the forest and how that is symbiotic with wildfire resilience. Lastly, I think, as the governor says, the future happens here first in California. And I think this task force and the partnerships between state, federal, and local and non-governmental partners and tribal partners, the vision here is that we're creating something so incredibly robust and demonstrative in tackling this solution as other states are starting to go down the similar path to what California is experiencing, that they will take the structures that are being put in place here, the actions, the considerations, the goals, and the tempo at which you guys have been working, which is incredible as well, and adopt those. And that, you know, as I said, the future happens here first, and we'll be sharing this, and hopefully others will take note as they come up with these challenges themselves. So appreciate the time, and again, thank you for bringing this together.
Huge thanks for all you do, Reese. And I recall the second day the governor took office, he issued an executive order on wildfire and made the case that we have to do things differently than we're doing. We have incredible firefighting capacity between CAL FIRE and the U.S. Forest Service and local mutual aid. But he made the case we have to do so much more upfront proactively to manage the wildfire resilience. And a few years later, and almost $3 billion of state funding and hundreds of millions of dollars from the federal government, we are making great progress with a lot of work ahead. So thank you for all you do to support this task force. Let me turn it to you, Jen.
Great. Hopefully you all can hear me. Thank you, Reese. That was fantastic. And Wade, such great opening statements too. And again, I'll keep it short. I know that just like Reese had said, what is exciting about coming together here is we have the plans, we've got an action plan, we've got the strategies on it, but also we're actually activating around it and making the progress. And that's what's so fun about these meetings that we have virtual and in person with people in the audience, is that we get this feedback and update loop. What's the progress that we're making and what are the next steps we're taking? I incredibly enjoy our geographic location meetings that we have. Just had one in Southern California, and we get such a great time to be able to pull partners together, see how everybody is working collaboratively on so many of the same issues, and do a deeper dive in that. So I'm looking forward to the Central Coast that is coming up in May, but these are those ones where here's our progress, here's the change that we're making right now, and with all of your good work on all of our working groups. So that's one thing I wanted to make sure we're saying and echoing, just like Reese and Wade had done as well. Also, I'm going to acknowledge that we still have some challenges here. Instead of an amazing dry drought wildfire issues, we've got a lot of rain and floods and snow that are happening. So certainly we'll be able to take a look as the snow melts, at least on the high country. That's primarily a lot of the Forest Service lands that we have in the state. We'll keep watch on that, because that's part of our all of our resilience as well. We're looking at what our roads and our access will be and making sure that we're able to activate around some of the projects and the opportunities that we have to really reduce the threat on the landscape through fuels reduction and thinning. I also want to just say too that many of you, if you haven't heard, our Secretary Vilsack, Tom Vilsack with USDA, just announced community wildfire defense grants, and that is $100 million that's coming into California. 33 out of 100 proposals were approved for funding, and that is all on the community wildfire defense plans that have been happening and working and investing. Lots of hard work by our communities. So that is not only planning, but actual implementation dollars for many of those projects. That just feeds into all of the good work that we're doing collectively across the state and adding to that 1 million acre goal that we have in our task force to get those fuels treatments and risk reduction projects on the ground. So very much looking forward to that, seeing that come there. And also there will be some new grant opportunities in 2023. So keep the lookout for those announcements as they come out, and we'll share that out as well. So one thing I'm really looking forward to, all things today, I should say, that I'm really looking forward to is we've said how diverse and disperse this task force is really working on so many issues across the state. And how do you aggregate data? How do you pull it all together? How do you make sense between all the jurisdictions that we have? So very much looking forward to the hard work that our team has done on how do you get data together and share data across all these entities. We, as Reese had said, and Wade, we are leaders in this country, working in an organization that covers the entirety of the US. Absolutely, California is one of the places that they're looking to for a template, for help, for thoughts, for ideas, and how we're working together on this task force. So looking forward to that. And certainly on wood innovation, projects. That is going to be an exciting panel as well, and see the actions that come out of that. So we all know the challenges. What do we do with all the wood that's out there? So very much looking forward to that one too. So thanks in advance for all our panelists, our work groups that have been working so hard, following through on the action plans, and then also actually doing the work and getting things done. Thanks much. Turn it back.
Thank you so much, Jen. And just want to thank the executive committee members that we have helping to lead the task force. Obviously, Chief Tyler, who leads CAL FIRE, which is the cornerstone of all of our state forestry and fire efforts. Don Hankins, who leads the Indigenous Stewardship Network and brings an important tribal voice. And of course, Doug Teeter, who represents the rural counties, which really both bear the brunt of our wildfire risks, but also is where the solutions we find are. And then, of course, Richard Behart from the key research function of the U.S. Forest Service, and Katie Lando representing our sister agency at Cal EPA. Thank you so much for being here. So let's jump in.